Hi, guys. It's Kathy. I hope you're doing well. Hi, Terry. All right. Time for OJ. Time to finish Cato. Cato, we will miss you. We enjoyed you a tremendous amount.
Now, was that dog comfortable around?
Oh, well.
Cato, the dog. That dog was living with Nicole on Gretna Green, is that right?
Yes.
And was that dog comfortable around the defendant?
As far as I could see, yes.
Did he ever bark when the defendant came around?
Cato barked. He was a puppy at first, so he barked a lot. And then he'd bark. But he was, when everybody's together, he wasn't barking. He'd bark.
Did he bark at the defendant? Did he ever act like he was afraid of the defendant?
No.
Sustained.
When the defendant would come to the Gretna Green location, would he play with Cato, the dog?
Petting in that, I don't know, could we consider playing?
Yeah,
I mean,
petting. Did he pet the
He
dog?
pet the dog, yes.
Did the dog bark at him when he petted him?
No, I don't remember that. He barked.
Wait, maybe you should explain to him what a dog sounds like. Maybe that would help him.
All right, Mr. Kalin, you told Mr. Shapiro that the defendant's demeanor on June the 12th was the same as always. Do you recall saying that?
At different points of that day, I said that he was tired at one point, and in the afternoon he was conversational. So yes, I said that.
Okay. And so was he always upset? Was that common for him, Mr. Kalin?
Objection.
Grounds.
Reading is suggested.
Sustained.
You remember testifying earlier that Mr. Simpson was upset during that day?
About a statement that was made, a little bit upset, yes.
And the statement that was made that you're referring to?
There was a statement about taking Sydney, that Nicole took Sydney when OJ was going to talk to her after the recital.
Do you recall testifying that he was upset at that point?
Objection dated to when the testimony was, Your Honor, that you testified in this case.
Overruled.
I think it's confusing.
Overruled.
If you don't, can you show me again? I think that's right with that page. I think where I said.
Is it your testimony now that you were? I'm going to.
But
Let me.
counsel gets to conduct their own examination.
Mr. Kalin.
Yes.
Is it your testimony right now that you recall testifying previously that the defendant was upset when he spoke of Sydney, of trying to see Sydney at the recital?
Yes.
Okay, now let me direct your attention to page 20132 of the transcript. This is cross-examination by Mr. Shapiro. I'm going to show it to you. Question by Mr. Shapiro. Did you see anything unusual in his feelings because he couldn't spend as much time with his daughter that he would have liked? No, he just said it. It wasn't unusual. Was he angry? No, not when he said that. Was he agitated? No. You recall giving that testimony?
Yes.
And yet you just testified that the defendant was upset when he said that.
Objection.
Overruled.
What I have trouble with is the upset, the word of what the range is of upset and angry. but yeah, there was like upsetness in the voice.
Are you confused about the meaning of the word upset, Mr. Kalin? Is that
No,
the problem?
No, I know what you mean.
You testified for Mr. Shapiro that he was not angry or agitated when he spoke of Sydney and the recital. And now you've just told us that he was upset when he
Yes.
spoke of Sydney and the recital.
Yes.
Objection or unanimous?
Sustain. Ask a question.
Can you explain to us then, how do you want to leave it, Mr. Kalin? Was the defendant upset when he spoke of trying to see Sydney at the recital?
There was some upsetness. Yes.
Did that upsetness increase at some point during his conversation with you after the recital?
No.
Never increased.
The upsetness after recital talking about it.
Was there any
Yes.
other remark he made about the events of the recital in which he seemed more agitated or upset than when he spoke about trying to see Sydney?
About the dresses.
Yes.
Yes, he had said that about the wearing dresses when they're grandmothers.
Yes.
Yes, there was there was upsetness, but it was more upset about the statement of Sydney. But both upset, but more with the Sydney not being able to see her.
Look, that parking garage was stupid. It really was. It had level 3, level 4, level 6. You couldn't go on one of the levels. You could only go up on one, down on the other. And then it was like level 3 was like 3 brown, 3 blue, 3 purple, 3 gray. And one of them crosses over this divide. So it was unbelievably just stupid.
Is that the way you want to leave it, Mr. Keelan? Is that right? He was more upset talking about Sydney than he was talking about Nicole? Is that your testimony?
That yes.
Directing counsel's attention to page 20154 of the same volume. Question. Can you describe his demeanor?
I believe
I'm sorry,
21.
line 14,
14.
20154. Answer, your question, Mr. Kalin, was about asking about Sydney. Question, yes. Answer, she was great. That, yeah, she was great and Sydney was wonderful. At the question was by the court, what was his demeanor? What was his demeanor? Fine. It was, give me like very happy, not sad, just, you recall giving those answers?
Yes.
And that was with regard to his conversation with you about Sydney at the recital.
That she was great. Yes.
Yes. And Mr. Shapiro then asked you, do you recall what you said to the grand jury in response to Ms. Clark's questions? Answer, relaxed, yes. So he was relaxed and nonchalant. Question, so the word you used when Ms. Clark asked you, did he seem to be agitated, upset, or nervous? Question on page 20156. Can you tell what his demeanor was like when he was discussing Sydney's performance? It was nonchalant. It was relaxed. That was your testimony as you gave it to Mr. Shapiro and as you gave it at the grand jury. Do you recall that?
Yes.
And now you're testifying today, sir, that he was upset when he talked about Sydney.
At the time, that's what I remember.
But you didn't remember that back on June 20th of 1994. Is that right?
Yes.
And now you remember that?
Yes.
And what about during the time that he made the remark about Nicole wearing tight dresses? Was he upset when he said that?
More upset with the Sydney statement, but maybe just a bit with that. With
Just
the
a bit?
just-
I'm sorry?
yes. If you can show me.
I'm sorry.
No, he asked.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Thank you. So your testimony now is that he was upset about the Sydney incident, but just a bit upset about Nicole. Her tight dresses, is that right? Is that what you
yes,
testified?
that's-
No, I'm
yes.
asking you right now.
Yes.
Directing the court to the council to page 2001 and volume 112.
2000.
This is the grand jury?
Nope. This is your testimony in this
Okay.
trial, Mr. Kalin.
Okay.
Line 11, my question to you, what was the defendant's physical demeanor, his physical body movements when he talked to you about Nicole wearing tight dresses? Your answer, oh, that he was upset. He made a point to say the tight dresses that I mentioned before. Question, did you see him clench his fists or his teeth? Answer, I didn't see like that, clenching his fists or his teeth. He was upset. And it was like, oh, those wearing those tight outfits when I mentioned, what are they going to do when they're grandmas? Do you recall giving that testimony, sir?
Yes.
You didn't say there that he was a little bit upset, did you?
No.
You changing your testimony now, Mr. Kalin?
No.
Was he upset or wasn't he when he talked about Nicole and her tight dresses?
No, not real upset. It,
I wish I could save him. I wish I could pull him off the stand. Leave him
I'm
alone.
going to ask leave of the court to take this witness as a hostile witness.
Marcia,
I
no.
think that's something you need to do at sidebar. Or with court reporter, please. Clerk's comment to the court that Mr. Kalin is a, quote, hostile witness. Disregard that comment by her. Ms. Clark.
All right, now you previously testified that the defendant was upset when he spoke about the Nicole wearing the tight dresses at the recital.
yes.
And is it still your testimony, sir, that he was upset when he was discussing that topic?
Yeah, I mean, I can do the voice. I'm kind of what it was like.
You think you could make your voice sound like his?
No.
Thank you. Now, is it your testimony today that he was more upset about Sydney than he was about Nicole wearing the tight dresses?
Yes.
But that was not your testimony before, was it, Mr. Kalin?
No.
Earlier, you testified that he was relaxed and nonchalant when he spoke about Sydney at the recital. Isn't that true?
That's what I remember, yes.
And isn't it also true that you testified previously during this trial that he was more upset about Nicole wearing the tight dresses than he was about not being able to see Sydney? Isn't that true?
Yes.
And now you're changing that testimony. Is that what you're doing, sir?
Yes.
Now, was it on? It was on the date of June the 12th that he told you more than once that he was upset with Nicole. He was through with Nicole. Is that right?
Yes.
And when was the first time that he told you about that?
Yeah, it was afternoon.
And was that about 3 o'clock in the afternoon?
Yes.
And when he told you about that, was he upset?
No.
He was not upset.
He was saying it was over.
And what was it that caused him to bring up that subject, that it was through, he was through with Nicole?
It just came up.
You don't remember how?
I don't know if there was a phone call or what. It just came up. I was just reading the paper and it came up.
Isn't it true, Mr. Kalin, that Mr. Simpson told you he'd had a conversation with Nicole on his cell phone while he was at the Riviera Country Club in which he had had an argument with her?
No,
He didn't tell you about that?
no, he didn't.
Mr. Simpson did not tell you
Wait.
that?
With the court reporter. Thank you, counsel. Ms. Clark.
All right, my next question to you, Mr. Kalin. Isn't it true that before the defendant told you, made that remark to you, that he and Nicole were through around 3 o'clock in the afternoon of June the 12th, that he told you he'd had a conversation with Nicole while he was at the Riviera Country Club on his cell phone?
No, he did not tell me that.
He did not tell you about any conversations he had had with Nicole during that day before 3 o'clock?
He did not. No.
After the remark he made to you about he and Nicole being through at about 3 o'clock on June the 12th, did the subject of he and Nicole being through come up again?
After 3 o'clock?
Yes.
Yes.
And was that before or after the recital?
After.
And after the recital, he remarked to you that he and Nicole were through.
Yes.
Was that before or after he told you about, he was upset about her tight dresses?
It was before or after. It was in the same frame. I don't know if it was before or after that line.
Okay, so he was still upset when he told you he and Nicole were through, when he was speaking to you after the recital?
After the recital, yes.
And then he told you a third time during that conversation that he and Nicole were through, didn't he?
I don't know if it came up there at that point.
Well, did he explain to you why he was upset about her tight dresses if he was through with her?
He didn't explain why. He was commenting on the dress.
He had a girlfriend at that time, didn't he?
Yes.
And he told you he was through with her, didn't he?
No.
No, through with Nicole, didn't he?
Oh, yes.
But he was upset, and he told you he acted upset when he talked about Nicole wearing tight dresses, didn't he?
Yes.
Did you ask him to explain why, if he had a girlfriend and he was through with Nicole, he was still upset about her tight dresses?
No.
Did he explain? And he also told you, he also said something about her not being able to wear those tight dresses when she got older. Remember that?
Yes.
And he was still upset when he said that, wasn't he?
Yes.
And did he explain why he was thinking or upset about whether she could still wear those tight dresses in her old age if he was through with her?
Say it again.
Did he tell you why, explain to you why he was upset about her and wearing tight dresses when she got older if he was through with her?
No.
Did you ask him?
No.
Now, isn't it true that it was in mid-May or late May of 1994 that the defendant told you he and Nicole were through for good? That it was finally over with them?
Yeah, it happened around May that they were. I can't give like the exact date. They were on and off, and it was right around there. I can't give the exact date.
But it was around the end of May of 1994 that the defendant told you, that's it, we're done,
Yes.
it's over. Is that right?
Yes, it was in May that it was over.
But then he remarked to you again 3 times on June the 12th that he and Nicole were through. Isn't that right?
Sustain. Sustain.
You recall that the small black knapsack you were talking about that you saw on the driveway at Rockingham for the first time when you came back from the garage on your second trip back to the garage, right?
Yes,
Did you see that small black knapsack when you left with the defendant to go to McDonald's?
I did not see it, no.
And you didn't see it when you came back from McDonald's either, did you?
I did not.
Now, you didn't notice the black knapsack the first time you walked back to the garage before you let the limo driver in, is that right?
I'm pretty sure I didn't notice it.
But it could have been there without you noticing it. Is that a fair statement?
It's fair.
Knapsack, knapsack. It's like a book bag. It's like a book bag. It's like a duffel bag. It's more like a duffel bag than a book bag, but it's a smaller duffel bag.
The first time you noticed the knapsack was when you came back from the garage, the second time you went to check for the noises,
Yes.
correct?
Correct.
And that was about 11 o'clock, is that right?
Correct.
And when you noticed that knapsack, how far was the defendant from it?
20 feet?
I'm sorry,
About 20 feet?
20 feet? Where was the defendant when you saw that knapsack?
By the doorway?
The
By
front
the
door?
where the golf clubs would have been?
He was in the entryway of his house?
Not in the house, just in that sidewalk area. That's what I remember, I think.
And after the defendant told you that he'd go and get the knapsack, you never saw it again, is that correct?
That's correct.
Now that knapsack, was it big enough to hold a knife?
Objection.
Sustain.
Was that knapsack big enough to hold bloody clothing and bloody shoes?
Objection.
Sustain. Sustain. No. He's already described the dimensions of the bag.
Now, you indicated earlier it was dark in the front lawn area, is that correct?
Correct.
And you indicated also that there was a street light, but it did not illuminate the front lawn area, is that correct?
Correct.
And is it also true, Mr. Kalin, that there are no lights that directly light the front lawn area?
I'm sorry.
Isn't it true that there are no lights that directly light the front lawn area?
Correct.
Mr. Kalin, you spent time with the defendant on June the 12th, as you've indicated to us earlier, isn't that right?
He doesn't even get mad. He didn't even get mad when she said he was a hostile witness because I don't think he understood what's going on. He just sort of went with it.
Yes.
And you indicated that you saw no injury to his hand anytime that night, isn't that correct?
That is correct.
And did you notice any injury to his hand on June the 11th, on Saturday?
No.
Did you see him on June the 11th, Saturday?
Yes, I think so. Yes. Yeah, yes, it was that. That was the night of a party of a ball, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then I saw him Saturday.
You saw him.
Yes.
So there was no injury to his hand on Saturday either, was there?
Not that I saw.
I have a photograph that has been marked as defendant 1003.
I'm outstandingly lost as well. I'm lost about, oops, my camera's on. I'm lost about something. When is this knapsack thing? When is the McDonald's trip? So, okay. Is it after, so he's in Chicago. Is he in Chicago when the police call him? Right? He's in Chicago when the police call him and say Nicole died. So, but see, that doesn't make any sense. Nicole and Ron died at 10:30, correct? Okay. All right. The police get there at 5 a.m. ish, 4 a.m., 5 a.m. ish. OJ goes to Chicago, what, around, I can't remember if it was 9 a.m. or 11 a.m., right? So, well, the McDonald's trip, it couldn't have been at like 2 a.m., could it? So, okay, Ron and Nicole die at 10:30 p.m., 10 o'clock p.m., okay? The police get there at 5 a.m. When is the McDonald's trip? Earlier in the evening. So before the McDonald's trip was before Nicole and Ron died. Is that what we're thinking? Oh, so he went to McDonald's. He did not have a cut on his hand. But no, that doesn't make sense either because Marsha just said, is there enough room in that duffel bag to hold bloody clothes? So that was at 9. I mean, there wouldn't be bloody clothes in there at 9. At 9 o'clock, unless unless the murders happened, unless he murdered her and then went to McDonald's, which doesn't make any sense to me. Does it? If he got the burgers first, if he got the knapsack first, all right, before the murders, well, then there wouldn't be any bloody clothes in them. There wouldn't be a knife in them. It would just be his knapsack for the airport. I wish they would spend more time on what actually happened, what actually they thought happened, instead of how many barks the dog barked that night. Let's see. I didn't read this. I just clicked it. Went to McDonald's for dinner between 9 p.m. and 9:30 on the night of the murders. They returned home around 9:45. Maybe. That just doesn't make sense, though, because he could have gone anywhere. Why would he jump over his own? Maybe he didn't jump over his own fence there. Maybe he was walking behind there. But I guess no, it wouldn't make sense. It wouldn't make sense because they said there were spider webs. So if there's spider webs, he was not walking behind there. Unless there was only spider webs after the air conditioner and not before the air conditioner. And I don't know if there was or there wasn't. I don't know. Yeah, if they would timeline this and give us something, but it's just so confusing.
You ever seen this photograph, Mr. Kalin?
I thought I saw it on television once.
Okay. Is that the photograph of the defendant on the date of June the 12th, 1994 at the recital for his daughter, Sydney?
Yes.
Want you to examine the photograph. We're going to move in closer on his left hand. Not that close. See any cut or injury on that left hand, sir?
No.
On the middle finger? See any
No.
cut?
No, I do not.
And he got back from that recital to Rockingham at what time?
I believe about 6:37.
6:30 or 7?
Yes. Well, that's when I saw him. I don't know what time he got back. I didn't see him drive up.
Now, when you saw the defendant outside by the limo at about 11 p.m. on the night of June the 12th, you told him, you said earlier, you told him about the noises that you'd heard, the bangs on your wall, your picture moving, right?
Yes, I did.
And you also told him that you were afraid somebody might be out there on the south pathway when you learned there had been no earthquake. Isn't that right?
That is,
This is foundational.
Overruled. Proceed.
yes, that is correct.
And when you told him you were afraid someone was out there because there had been no earthquake, did he tell you to call the police?
No,
Did he tell you to call West Tech?
no,
When he called you later from the airport at about 11:40, he asked you to set the alarm on the house?
yes,
Did he tell you to call the police?
no,
Did he tell you to call West Tech?
no,
Did he tell you to do anything to investigate the source of those bangs on your wall?
no,
Now, you spoke to the police on the morning of June the 13th, correct?
correct,
And at the time you spoke to them, you indicated to us that you did not know that a bloody glove had been found on the south pathway at Rockingham outside your wall.
correct,
And you did not know at that time that you were going to be called to testify in a case in which Mr. Simpson was a defendant, correct?
correct,
Now, on June the 13th, then after you, strike that, when you spoke to the police, you told them about the bangs on your wall?
I did.
And you told them you heard those bangs at about 10:45?
Yes,
And did you also tell them that you had gone out twice to investigate the source of those noises?
yes,
And this was after you'd already spoken to Detective Furman and Detective Van Adder, is that right?
yes,
This was at the police station when they took a formal report, correct?
correct,
And did you also tell them about seeing the limousine driver at about 11 o'clock?
yes,
You told them all about the events of that night as you've told us, is that correct?
that is correct.
They didn't ask you about the defendant's relationship with Nicole prior to June the 12th, is that correct?
Correct,
They didn't ask you about any incidents of domestic violence between the defendant and Nicole, did they?
correct,
And then later on that day, you went back to Grant Kramer's house, correct?
correct,
And that was after the police had told you not to go back to the defendant's house on Rockingham, isn't that true?
Overruled.
correct,
And when you were at Grant Kramer's house, within a few minutes after your arrival, you got a phone call from the defendant and his attorney, Mr. Weitzman, isn't that correct?
I
Objection. Asked it.
Overruled.
got a phone call. I don't know if it was a few minutes, but yes, I got a phone call.
Very shortly after you arrived at Mr. Kramer's house, isn't that correct?
Correct,
And after that phone call, you received another phone call from Mr. Weitzman and the defendant, isn't that correct?
I believe so.
And when you received those phone calls, you made Grant Kramer leave the room, didn't you?
I don't know. I was in a different room and he wasn't around. I don't think I asked him, but I was alone. He wasn't. He was in a different area.
You didn't tell him to leave you alone while you spoke to them?
I don't believe so. No,
You don't believe so?
I could have, but I don't remember.
You don't remember?
I
You
do
could
not.
have.
I could have, but I don't remember.
And in your conversation with Mr. Weitzman and the defendant, did Mr. Weitzman ask you what had happened at the police station?
Objection, Your Honor.
Haven't we gone over this once before?
Not this part, Your Honor. This is different. And two questions that is different than I've gone into. It is.
Proceed.
I think so. Yes,
Mr. Weitzman asked you what you had told the police, didn't he?
I think so.
And then you said to him, all I can do is tell the truth. Isn't that right?
I said that. Yes, they both did. And I said that though.
And that's when, and after you told him what you'd told the police, that's when he said, well, all you can do is tell the truth. Isn't that right?
I believe so.
And at that point in time, when you spoke to the police, you did not know that you were incriminating the defendant with your statements, did you?
Objection.
Sustained.
Speculation.
Sustained. No.
All right, you indicated that when you reviewed the police report that had been written of your statement given on June the 13th, that you made some corrections to it.
Yes, I did.
And did you see the corrections in the report, a subsequent report that they filed for you?
Yeah, I saw. I don't remember, but I remember they had the wrong address, I think.
Your Honor, I have here discovery pages 347, 348, 349, and 707 containing the statements to the police of Brian Kalin made on June the 13th and on June the 17th. I'd ask that they be collectively marked as people's
144.
144?
144.
Thank you. Oh. I'm sorry, Your Honor. Well, we can mark this next one. The printout of the blow-up of the photograph that was defendant's 1103.
All right, it's be People's 145.
1003.
People's 145.
People's 145. So I'm going to show you the police reports that I've just marked as People's 144, ask you to review them and tell us if these are the statements you gave to the police, both the original report and the corrections that you requested they make.
But the defense didn't even have a chance to put on their defense yet. I think we're on day 68, and it's been all prosecution so far. Well, I mean, Rosa is the defense's witness, Rosa Lopez, but the jury didn't hear that.
Can I read this too? This.
No, he was prosecuted. That was the prosecution's case in chief right there. The defense is it's not their turn yet. They got to cross him, and I'm sure they love to cross him.
Ms. Clark, your witness has a question as to the last page.
Is that supposed to read that?
Yeah, that would seal the deal.
No, it's okay. Have you read all of these, Mr. Kalin?
Yes, it did.
All right. And are these an accurate reflection of all of your statements to the police made on June the 13th and June the 17th?
Pretty much, yes.
Okay. And the report on June the 17th, does that contain the corrections that you wanted them to put down to your June 13th report?
But the address change, yes. I think so. And I put the bag in the car, not the limo driver.
Yes.
Yes.
And that it was several moments later after you waved at the limo driver when you approached the gate and spoke to the driver?
Yes.
Are those the
Yes.
corrections you requested they make?
Yes.
So do these reports accurately contain the statement you gave to the police on June the 13th and June the 17th?
Yes.
All right, you indicated on cross-examination, sir, that you had an interview with Mr. Shapiro a few weeks ago. You recall that?
Yes, I did.
Was it tape recorded?
I don't believe so, no.
Were any notes taken?
He had a book open. I don't know if he took notes. I don't know. I don't think so.
Was any report prepared?
No.
Did he tell you what he was going to ask you in court here?
A general outline, sort of.
Ask you the questions that he wound up asking here in court?
It's just some.
Did you have any meetings with Mr. Shapiro last week, Wednesday night,
Last week, Wednesday night. No.
Thursday night?
No.
You acquainted with someone by the name of Buddy Monash?
Yes.
Did you have a meeting with Mr. Monash, sir,
Not-
last week?
No.
How about the week before?
No.
How about over this weekend? Did you speak to Mr. Shapiro and Mr. Monash over this weekend?
No.
Who is Mr. Monash?
Buddy Monash. I'm with Michael Plotkin Entertainment, who's here, and it's his partner.
And so Buddy Monash, is he one of your lawyers?
No, Michael is. He's at the firm, but Michael Plotkin is my entertainment lawyer.
Okay.
He's here.
And he's here, right?
Yes.
And so Buddy Monash works with Michael Plotkin, who is your lawyer. Is that correct?
Yeah, they have a firm together.
Mhm.
I don't know if they work the same things together.
Has Michael Plotkin met with Mr. Shapiro?
I don't believe so.
Has Buddy Monash met with Mr. Shapiro?
Not that I'm aware of.
When you saw the defendant on Monday evening at Rockingham, strike that. When you were at Grant Kramer's house, you got at least 2 phone calls from the defendant and his lawyer, Mr. Weitzman. Is that right?
Objection, during this 5 minutes.
Overruled.
I believe so. Yes.
And the defendant asked you to go over to Rockingham for a meeting. Isn't that correct?
Objection. Been over this before also.
Overruled.
I do not remember that, to go over to the house for a meeting.
You don't remember that?
I don't.
Was it Mr. Weitzman that asked you to go over and have a meeting at Rockingham on June the 13th?
It could
Objection, since back on the-
Overruled.
it could
Sometimes I see the videos of people from other parts of the world getting American stuff and getting excited. And Red Solo Cup is one of those things where they get so excited to get a Red Solo Cup like nailed to them. Oh my God, it's a Solo Cup. While we have them everywhere here.
have been, yes.
Someone on the telephone who called you from the Rockingham location on June the 13th while you were at Grant Kramer's place asked you to go over to Rockingham for a meeting that day, didn't they?
I can't be 100% positive. I can't. I mean, I don't remember.
You went over to Rockingham, didn't you?
At some point, yes.
And I pointed out a film clip to you of the shirt you were wearing.
Hmm.
Is that right?
Yes.
And you indicated that you didn't change your clothes for 3 days, didn't you, sir?
No.
You indicated
days.
you wore that same shirt for 2 days, 2 or 3 days?
It could have been, yeah. I could have been, yes, 2 days. I think I did.
So you went back to Rockingham and you wore the same shirt for 2 days. Is that right?
Hmm.
What you just said, sir.
Yeah, I did. I don't know if I changed it and put it back on, but yes, I had it on for 2 days.
Who asked you to go back to Rockingham for a meeting on June the 13th?
I don't think I ever met Mr. Weitzman.
Who
She sure is.
asked you to go back to Rockingham on June the 13th?
It could have been, I don't know. It could have been Kathy Randa, but I don't remember.
Could have been Kathy. Could it have been the defendant?
It could have,
Could it have been Mr. Weitzman?
I
possibly.
was not there.
Could it have been all three?
Yes.
When you went back to Rockingham on June the 13th and you saw the defendant, was he crying?
No.
Did he speak to you about Nicole at all?
No.
Isn't it true, sir, that the only conversation you had with the defendant back at Rockingham had to do with whether or not you could say he was at home that night between 9:35 and 11 p.m.?
Overruled.
Somewhat, yes.
And when he said that you could say, when the defendant said you could say he was at home on night of June the 12th, and you said you couldn't say that, that's because it's true, isn't it? You couldn't say that he was home between 9:35 and 11 o'clock.
Sustained.
Is it true that you could not say the defendant was at home between 9:35 and 11 o'clock?
That's true.
You left his presence at 9:35, isn't that right?
Yes,
And you didn't see him again, and you were not in his presence again until 11 p.m., isn't that right?
that's right.
And can you tell this jury where the defendant was between 9:35 and 11 p.m., sir?
No, I cannot.
Can you tell this jury that the defendant was not at 875 South Bundy between 9:35 and 11 p.m.?
Sustained.
Just don't sell used ones, okay? Get the real ones. Let's look. Let's look. That looks like red Solo cups to me. Right there. But is that's not London. I said London.
I have nothing further.
Oops.
Shapiro? Hold on just a second. Court recording has changed it.
Blue American style, they call them. There's Big Ben paper cups. London cups.
Ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, Mr. Kalin.
Good afternoon.
Has the questions that have just been put to you made you nervous at all?
Yes.
Are you afraid of Miss Clark?
White plastic
I'm not
cups.
afraid of her. No.
Does she scare you?
I want to see.
No. I
Does she
mean,
make you uncomfortable?
well, certain questions, yes.
All right.
Why is that?
Because I'm trying to do my best.
And do you think
Come on.
she's given you the opportunity to do your best and to be fair?
Sustained.
Does she intimidate you at all?
Yes.
How's that?
Overruled.
By her job.
Are you here to tell the truth?
Yes.
Are you doing your best to tell the truth?
Yes.
Would you say that in trying to describe certain events that sometimes just using words isn't enough?
Yes.
For example, when Miss Clark was trying to get you to say that,
Counsel, why don't you rephrase that question?
when Miss Clark was asking you questions regarding whether or not O.J. Simpson was upset on June the 12th when you were talking to him after the recital, would you describe what you would mean when you were saying somebody is upset?
My description of what upset is,
Yes. And what you were viewing O.J. Simpson's behavior on that day, so the jury can understand how you were feeling and how he was feeling and what this conversation was
It
really.
seems to me that what Marcia just did destroyed all of Cato's testimony so far. it seems to me that if I was Cochran, I would shut up right now. I would definitely not try to save Cato's testimony, right? I mean, no, if I'm Cochran, we want the jury to find Cato completely unreliable, flighty, doesn't know anything, and can't answer a question straight. Why is he trying to save him now? It's backwards world. It's bizarro world.
About.
Okay. Okay, so start with the Sydney.
Yes.
Um, Nicole didn't let me see Sydney. I want to see my daughter. I want to see her. And oh boy, kind of like I want to see my daughter. And then they're wearing these tight outfits I don't know, Cato. I don't know how they can wear these tight outfits. If they're going to be grandmas one day, I mean, can they wear those?
Was that the tone of voice?
Actor, sorry. The more of a no, it was sort of they can't be wearing those tight outfits, but it was a degree of upset. It's such a hard thing to being upset. It wasn't throwing things. It wasn't she's wearing that mini skirt. It wasn't like that. It's a tough question. It's what are they going to do when they're going to be grandmas? They can't wear mini skirts.
What was your reaction?
I got news for you,
I listened.
OJ.
Kind of like that.
You didn't find the tone threatening, did you?
No.
I mean, you've said this in kind of a matter-of-fact way, but with a little emotion. Is
Yeah,
that the way you would
there's some
describe
emotion.
O.J. Simpson?
Yes, there was a little emotion. There was some emotion in the voice.
What about body language? Did you see any hostility? Did you see any pent-up anger come through?
I'm pretty sure he was sitting down, so I didn't.
Now, you knew that from May of 1993 to May of 1994, Nicole was trying to get back into a formal relationship with OJ.
Oh,
Could you give me those dates again? I'm sorry.
From May of 1993, when you were at Gretna Green, to May of 1994, you knew that Nicole was trying to get back together with OJ.
oh,
I think it was a team thing. They both were going off and on. I don't think it was one or the other. It was both working together of however it was going to happen. I mean, maybe she was trying to make it work and he was, then it was off and on. I can't.
And you knew that OJ had committed to Nicole that they would give it a year to try to work out things and see if they could get back together as a family, didn't you?
There was some kind of commitment, yes.
And you knew in early May that OJ had concluded that it just wasn't going to work. It was unfortunate, but they were both going to have to lead their own lives separately.
Yes, sort of.
And you also knew that Paula Barbieri had come back into his life in May. Is that correct?
Yes. I don't know if it was end of April or May, but yes, they got back together.
And was it your personal feeling that you would have liked to seen OJ and Nicole get back together?
Yes.
Why is that?
oh,
I just wanted them to be happy if they're going to be happy.
Because you really like both people.
Yes.
You really like the kids.
Yes.
And you would really have liked to seen this family get back together.
Yes.
When OJ told you that it just wasn't going to work, he had no anger, did he?
No.
He had no hostility?
oh,
He had no hostility, did he?
No.
It was just a matter-of-fact thing, Cato, you know? It just didn't work out.
Yes.
But he always told you that he still wanted to have a family and be part of a family life.
what's the objection, counsel? Overruled.
He told you he wanted
Wait a
to.
minute. Wait a minute. I'm going to sustain that objection.
Now, you're a father of a 9-year-old daughter,
10 now.
10-year-old daughter. And do you think you have experience in being a father?
Yes.
Overruled.
And do you think you have an ability to form an opinion as to the types of parents people are?
Objection. The court will just be on the schedule. People will not, this whole line of questioning will be relevant.
I did. I don't want to get into this too far. You've established that he's a parent. You've asked his opinion regarding the relationship of the children between children and Mr. Simpson.
Do you think you had an ability during the period of time that you knew O.J. Simpson and Nicole Brown Simpson to form an opinion as to what type of father O.J. Simpson was?
Objection, Your Honor.
Overruled.
Of the times I've seen him, yes.
And during this period of time, isn't it true, sir, from May to May of 94, this 1 year, that O.J. Simpson was spending nights at Nicole Brown Simpson's home?
There was time when he was at Bundy.
And there were
I don't know the dates, but yeah, there were times.
times when she was at Rockingham.
Yes, there was times
And
there.
when you say that this was on and off, during this period of time, this was on, wasn't it? From 93 to 94.
From 93 to 94?
May of 93 to May of 94. This was a continuing, ongoing relationship between OJ and Nicole.
I know there was that commitment, and I can't give the exact date, but from May to 93, I know they had a commitment to go like the distance to see if it was going to work. And I can't give the exact date. I just can't. It's very hard to.
That period of time sound approximately correct?
Yes.
You were also aware that during that period of time that OJ's business would take him out of town,
Yes.
and that it was part of his job to have to travel.
Yes.
Regarding the conditions at Rockingham on June the 13th, you're aware that the entire grounds are professionally lit at night, are they not?
Yes. It's like the dim lights that are on the bottom though, so that's why I say it's dark. There's still those lighting, but it's still dark. It's like a dim light.
What about the trees? Don't the trees have lights in them?
I think the tree where the Snow White stuff is, there's that one tree is lit.
Aren't there other trees in the front that are also lit with lights that are both going up into the trees and down?
I know that one is, and the other trees might be to the side of that, to the area where the Rolls Royce is. I don't remember a bright light there. I just don't.
Regarding Mr. Simpson's luggage, you'd never seen his luggage before to any great extent, had you?
No.
And certainly you would have no occasion to see it afterwards, would you?
No.
Wasn't your responsibility to pack and unpack his bags?
Never.
Wasn't your responsibility to take care of his luggage?
No.
Now, when you moved into Rockingham, did O.J. Simpson instruct you that if Nicole needed any help at all, that you were to do exactly what you were doing in the past with her?
He didn't instruct me that. If she called, I would do something.
Did he tell you that that was okay, that you could do that?
Sustained.
Did he in any way advise you or tell you not to do anything that O.J. had done, that Nicole had asked for in the past?
Sustained.
You're aware that from August to February of 93 to 94 that O.J. had lived in his apartment in New York, working?
He had an apartment in New York, right? August, right.
Overruled.
That he had an apartment there, yes, and football was going on.
And so his business and work took him out of the city
Yes,
and out of the state.
yes.
Was it your feeling that O.J. Simpson was content with his life in May of 1994?
Sustained.
Was he happy with his lifestyle in May of 1994?
Sustained.
Did he seem to have any problems with women in May of 1994?
Sustained.
You told us last week that you did not keep track of O.J.'s coming and goings.
I did not, correct.
So if I was to ask you that on June the 12th at 9:45, did you go into O.J. Simpson's residence to see where he was? What would your answer be?
Overruled.
If I went into the residence?
Yeah.
I didn't go in. So, no, I wouldn't ask him to go in there.
And that would never be anything you would do at a specific time to go check up on him and see where he was. Isn't that true?
That is true.
And so you don't know whether or not he was in the house, do you?
I don't.
For all you know, the last time you saw him, he was walking towards the house.
Right, he was in the direction.
And you
True.
never saw any evidence of him leaving the house.
No,
So the last time you saw him, it was your state of mind that he probably was in the house.
Sustained. Answer stricken.
At 9:50, did you go to check on O.J. Simpson's whereabouts in his house?
No.
At 9:55, did you go check?
No.
At 10 o'clock, did you check?
No.
At 10:15, did you check?
No.
Would you ever during that day check as to where O.J. Simpson was?
No.
Would you ever on any day during the 6 months you lived there check as to where O.J. Simpson was?
No.
And when you saw him the very next day when he came back after the murders of his ex-wife and Ronald Goldman, he sensed some relief that at least he knew that you had been with him that day. Did he not?
Sustained.
Did he appear relieved when he was talking to you about being with him the day before?
Sustained.
Isn't it true that when O.J. Simpson said to you, "Thank God I was with you," that he seemed to be relieved?
Sustained. For first question.
How did O.J. Simpson appear to you when he made statements to you the next day at Rockingham?
Defendants again present before the court.
You're
With his
late.
Counsel, Mr. Shapiro.
Sir, you're late. All right, guys. I know it's only an hour, but was a whole hour. So we are going to end it now. I have a ton of work to do because I have off today. Thank you so much for coming out. I really, really, really appreciate it. I hope you guys have a great day. I'm going to be putting out a video later on. It's very funny. It's just this lady just swearing at this judge up and down. I'm going to get that prepared now, and you'll see it a little later today. And I shall see you all again very soon, tomorrow even, or in American Courts. Maybe if he streams, I'll be there. I don't know. Thanks for coming out, guys. Behave, okay? Bye.